Chapter 2, Albert's Journal of the Universe. Second entry, Dogma Uprising.
September 2nd, 2045, continued. The next day came quickly, within moments, with the group well rested. They met at the Dream Dawn to see who would join them in exploring Seth's mini-universe. Bill and Myra would join Seth, Mary, Brandon, Penny, Charles, and I on this sojourn. All of us agreed to go exploring as photons. The whole team has adapted to being and transforming into photons in this vision vacation. It was less restrictive when traveling about a 5-dimensional landscape. We began our journey with Seth by following him to a small planet, much like Earth. It only made sense that our creations would hold or form the reality we have come to know. Our memories were templates that were manifested into our dreamscapes. We traveled around this globe in the blink of an eye, yet still taking in all the wonder. The globe was inhabited by every kind of animal you could think of, including man. We saw how man progressed on this tiny globe within this beautiful dreamscape. Seth asked if we would like to take the time to experience evolution on a more physical level by slowing down our passage of time to that of the globe's time stream, then manifesting into a vessel that could mingle on this plane. Bill wanted to watch as an observer, so he remained as a photon. Before making this transformation, we traveled much slower as photons ourselves. This would be a game of hide and seek for the children, as they all agreed to take on forms in secrecy, then look for each other on the globe. Mary and I would monitor the game to make sure that no one got really lost. Mary and I took the form of our own physical bodies for this play. Penny became a teacher in a small village. Brandon became a minstrel traveling about. Charles was having so much fun as he closed off his vision, so he could not see who and where everyone was hiding. He chose to hide as an alchemist living in the mountains overlooking the village that Penny was in. Charles chose the form of an older man, but he could not mask his childlike playful mind. This would be so much fun for Charles. Myra became a merchant that brought values to the people. She bartered with the inhabitants in a way that brought out all of their talents, producing goods that everyone could use. Seth was the last to transform. He could be anything in this reality, and he wanted to choose wisely. While traveling around the area of the game, he saw this small little girl walking along the banks of a large stream. She danced and sang as she walked along. The little girl was known in the village as the shaman Princess Shauna. The other children called her grandmother Shauna because she was an old spirit in a child's body. You would not know that she was so advanced by just looking at her without truly seeing her. She played with the water, she picked up stones and placed them in her pouch. There was something special about Shauna that Seth did not discover right away. Watching Shauna play gave Seth his inspiration on what to transform into for the game of hide and seek that they were playing. Seth became a small crystal rock about 10 feet in front of Shauna's path. He placed himself in a spot that caught the sunlight just right so he would get Shauna's attention. He wanted Shauna to pick him for her pouch with her own free will. At first, Shauna walked right past Seth, seeming not to have noticed this special rock at all. She then came running back, giggling as she picked Seth up, saying, "You thought I did not see you, my sparkling little friend. You are going to be one of my favorite stones." When returning to her home, Shauna placed all her stones on a shelf near her bed. She talked to all the stones, so Seth was nothing but another one her loving collection. She would place each one of the stones in her own way, asking questions and making statements to them like, "You must have a wonderful story, you have been around for so long." She would ask the stones to tell her their stories. Weeks would go by before Shauna would pick Seth off the shelf for some special attention. This was just a brief moment for Seth, so it did not matter. Shauna gazed into the crystal Seth rock, so Seth showed her sacred geometry by reflecting light on a nearby wall. Seth projected the seed of life, then the tree of life, then the flower of life. Shauna reacted by saying,
"Oh, you are going to be great fun. You are my teacher stone. Thank you, precious one. Please show me more."
Seth rocked her world. Visions appeared in Shauna's mind that took her into Seth's world. Bit by bit, she grasped concepts that many masters, on her small plane, never realized. She still did not know that she was a part of her pet rock's dreamscape. One day there was a festival in the small village that people from all around would attend. Shauna would bring a whole pouch full of her favorite stones with her to the festival for trading. Everyone from the team playing hide and seek would be at this festival. Myra was there trading fine perfumes, spices, pottery, and many other things. Charles was there trading gold, silver, iron, and even transforming metals as a show for his trading. Penny had her classroom with her as she went from merchant to merchant. Her pupils followed her like a duckling follows their mother. Brandon roamed the streets playing a fiddle, chanting lyrics of magical lore and adventures beyond the normal reality. Two of the most playful mice played with him as children. Shauna was drawn to the alchemist merchant display, and she watched as he changed a lump of lead into a gold nugget. She asked the alchemist if he would trade the gold nugget for one of her stones. The alchemist looked at the stones and saw Seth among the other stones.
I'll take that one.
The alchemist replied, pointing at Seth. Shauna quickly put Seth back in her pouch, saying,
You may have any of the others, but I will keep that one. Look, this one has a wonderful story. He was formed in the deepest part of the planet and was pushed to the surface from a great eruption. The river moved him slowly to where he came to rest for hundreds of years in the spot where I picked him from all the others. He told me his story, and now I am telling you. Do you want to trade?
Can I hold the other stone?
The alchemist asked. Shauna felt trust, so she pulled out her special stone and handed it to the alchemist. Charles the alchemist took the stone and held it close to his lips, whispering in a joyful tone,
I found you first.
Seth's mental laughter caused the stone to brighten then dim while Charles held it in his hand. Seth asked Charles to befriend Shauna to help her learn, and Charles playfully agreed. He also agreed to not tell their secret to Shauna. Charles handed the stone back to Shauna, thanking her for sharing her rocks with him, as he took the aged river stone that Shauna offered him for the gold nugget.
I love this rock story, and I will give this rock many more stories to share.
Charles also gave Shauna a gyroscope to play with and learn from. Shauna would not take her Seth stone from her pouch for the rest of the festival. Mary and I watched in the background, keeping our thoughts clear, so the players could not see us. We had such fun as they found each other. The festival also revealed Myra to Brandon. They teamed up to find the others. Penny would not be found for a while. As Shauna grew older, she began to resemble Seth's violet heart flame that he had lost early on in his life. She was taken in a car accident when Seth was only 22 years old. Her spirit was alive in Shauna, even if Shauna was not aware of it. Seth has always carried his first love with him his whole life, and here she was manifesting all over again. Shauna's personality, her smile, her wit, her thirst for knowledge, her playfulness, as well as her looks all remarkably resembled Seth's old girlfriend Gloria. Bill came to Seth one evening to let him know of some things that were happening on other parts of this small garden globe. Apparently Seth's memories of the dark cabals that used to exist on Earth had trickled into this world. One group on the planet was creating a currency that they insisted would make trade much easier for everyone. They would create this paper that represented a natural resource that people were using to make all their exchanges. This group of paper pushers or money makers was looking to take control of all the merchants with this new idea of a common means of exchange. This group made the money so they could charge everyone for the use of the paper money. The idea was spreading quickly. Seth would have to show Shauna the consequences of this type of system becoming the normal mode of operation in any society. Shauna's influence on the people of that area was great. Most everyone would listen to her. At first, Shauna did not understand the vision she was having while holding the Seth rock in her hand. She understood better when she went to the marketplace with her stones, and many merchants wanted only the paper exchange instrument. This could lead to a system of control in a free will society, she quickly noticed when comparing what was happening to her visions. Shauna became an advocate for truly free trade without forced exchange instruments. She would talk to all the large gatherings, including Penny's classroom. Shauna always had her pouch of stones with her when she went to speak with others. When questions were asked that she did not have the answer to, Shauna would reach into her pouch and hold the Seth stone while answering. Penny's classroom knew her as Miss Nickel. Miss Nickel introduced Grandmother Shauna, as she was known by this name, to the whole school to speak on one occasion. Shauna told the group about many things, including some of the stories that were shared by the rocks and trees. When she came to the subject of the paper exchange concept that was taking over the trade, she reached into her pouch to hold the Seth stone in her hand. Shauna talked about concepts for society that she had never pondered: spiritual meritocracy, planned resource evaluation and distribution, basic rights of all, abundance and scarcity, natural law, freedom along with the cost of freedom, self-determination and oneness. She channeled Seth thoughts with eloquence that kept the children in wonder. The Seth stone glowed with a vibrant white light as she pulled it out of her pouch. Miss Nickel immediately noticed her old friend Seth and was thrilled that she found one of the team players in their game of hide and seek. Seth and Penny linked minds as he filled her in on what was happening. He could not let this group of money vipers loose on his garden paradise. They came from his memories, so he had a responsibility to stop it from happening. Plus, the game was still on, and they still needed to find Myra and Brandon. He let Penny know that Charles was an alchemist that was already helping Shauna. Now they could all help to bring about the awareness to the people about the consequences of the paper pushing society. The school cheered as grandmother Shauna finished speaking. She directed everyone to look inward for their answers and to use the data she was providing to help make informed decisions. Meanwhile, Bill had also contacted Myra and Brandon about what was going on. Myra was already feeling pressure as a merchant to switch over to this new paper paradigm. Brandon had a large pile of the paper that was being peddled on the people. Brandon had never lived in a monopoly society, but he realized that the paper had no real intrinsic value. You could not use it to survive outside the illusion being sold. You could only clean yourself with it after a body function. Penny, Brandon, and Charles were seeing for the first time in their life how a system of control can be placed on a group of people. This appeared so unnatural to them that they instinctively knew that it was wrong. The awareness of the intent of the paper pushers gained strength as songs were written and sung by everyone's favorite minstrel, Brandon. Brandon was calling himself the Brand Band, and he was loved all over. Miss Nickelpenny already suspected that the Brand Band was Brandon, so she invited Shauna to see the show that was being performed in the village square. Shauna was now 25 of her years old. She had changed into a beautiful woman, but she still held on to her childlike mind. She loved to play. After the show, Miss Nickel urged Shauna to follow her to catch the Brand Band. Penny could not wait to tag Brandon as the game of hide and seek was coming to the conclusion. They had all found each other on this world. The stories were exchanged as Shauna watched on in awe. Mary and I joined the group as they laughed about how clever they were. Shauna witnessed as they all returned to photons right in front of her. Seth took on the form of a man that Shauna was instinctively attracted to. He explained what was going on as best he could. It was hard for Shauna to comprehend that Seth was the creator source for all she knew in her existence. It also boggled her mind that the creator source she had been searching for was in turn seeking his creator source. The team of photons stayed around as Seth and Shauna stopped the growth of the toxic money paradigm. Seth would spend the next 1,000 years married to Shauna. This was just a few moments in the dreamscape, so we all waited for Seth to live his life with Shauna. What we did not expect was that Shauna would join us as photons for the rest of our Dream Vision vacation. That evening of day 2 in our dream vacation was full of love as the story was shared with the rest of the Dream Voyagers. Scout and Jasmine loved the story the most. We all agreed that we would all just relax on our 3rd day here in our 5th dimensional dream reality. The 3rd day would hold events that would bring relaxation, but not the way we anticipated.
I hope you enjoyed this chapter of Albert's Journal of the Universe. Subscribe to this channel for more adventures in the dream realm. The fun has just started. Please like and share.